So I know there's there might be a lot of misconceptions about how I handle life, and I kind of wanted to clear up all the misconceptions, like to just tell people exactly where I'm at with all of this nonsense here. So I don't know what's the best way of talking about this, because I feel like people try to use the fact that I bucked against the system on some level as a weapon against me to say that I'm at fault here. So that's it, and people will use like anything from some sort of really bad translation of the Bible, because there's like 20 of them. And I want to remind people there's only one canon version of the Bible, and it's the King James. These translations is basically the world trying to control the message and make it to whatever it wants it to be. A lot of it is. I'm being dead serious. I'm not the only person that sees it either. Like, people cherry pick, like they'll find a translation that fits their narrative and use it. I think there is no canon version of the Bible except King James. I'm gonna put that out there. But going back to the point, my situation is simple. So there are a couple things I wanted to get into with this one. All right, first I want to say that I realize that complaining changes nothing because no one cares. As far as these people are concerned, I'm the enemy. We're all enemies here, and we just fight each other pretty much all day. So why would they? Why? I mean, they're, obviously, I don't think if I just start complaining, they're going to be like, oh, the guy I hate. Let's do right by him, and I hate him. Oh, the guy I hate. The guy I'm oppressing. Well, if the people gave a damn about me in the first place enough to even care what I'm saying, they would never have oppressed me. So the fact they oppressed me means that they were my enemies. Therefore, they wouldn't give a damn whether I was complaining about anything they've done. If anything, they'd be happy that I hated everything they did. They'd be happy about it. So, I don't know. So me doing this, and I've talked about this. I've talked about why I made the channel 100 different times. A lot of it is because a lot of it is because of the reason I gave. I also wanted to add the fact that there are so many evil messages in the world too. They're like people. The world is full of deception. The world is full of deception. Everything is deceptive now. Like, if you ever dealt with a psychopath uses manipulation to control people. He controls the message. He manipulates his words. He's always manipulating. He's always blaming the victim. So we have this guy, and he gets married to his wife, and his wife is, this really good person, and he slaps her, and then he blames her for it. He's like, well, I hit you because this and that happened. It's your fault. It is your fault. That's how these people are, and they tries to justify the fact that he slapped his wife. His wife didn't lay a hand on him, and he slaps her. And these type of people are those type of people. They do evil things, and then they try to justify it. They'll say, it's your fault that I did this. You didn't wash the dishes. You didn't clean the bathroom. I had to hit you. I had to slap you. It's the same sort of deal. That's why when people are oppressing you and you know it, rather than just admit that they're evil or they're the bad guys, they try to gaslight and blame you. That's basically this entire setup, and probably the media, and possibly the Illuminati who's controlling the media. I don't know if it's the Illuminati, some sort of satanic cult, maybe Freemasons. I know out here there's a lot of Freemasons. I don't know about the Illuminati. There are a lot of Freemasons out here. They got temples. I walked by their temples quite a few times. They got more than one. So basically, if they're doing wrong by you, whether they're going to try to find an excuse in the Bible or they're going to come up with an excuse elsewhere, if they're doing wrong by you, they're going to come up with an excuse for it and just alleviate themselves of blame. That's why when I was out here, and it's just like, right, if I bucked, which I never bucked, officially bucked, but I don't really like try to do what the system would want me to do. So like a person would look at my situation and say, well, you're poor. You should be working 2 jobs. Fair enough point, right? So before I moved out here, I worked the equivalent of 2 jobs. I worked in an industry that I worked every day for 7 days a week, a minimum of 12 hours, sometimes 15 hours. And when I did that, I did this for a very long time. It was the hardest job you could possibly get. One of the hardest jobs you could possibly get. I don't know if I, told people about it. The gang stalking was almost just as prevalent while I was doing that than it is now. But the gang stalking was very much prevalent during that. So I'd be working 12 to 15 hours every day, and I would be getting harassed that entire time, literally harassed. And they didn't really try to justify the harassment because I wasn't fully aware of it back then. I just figured the people were bullying me. So when I did that job, I thought I was being bullied, and it wasn't connected to like this grandiose conspiracy back in those days. And I didn't make the connection until later on when I realized gang stalking was real because it happened here. It was happening here. So then I was like, okay, there's something more to this, right? So then I had the people, so I did not have people saying, oh man, if only you did this or only you did that. Now I was doing things pretty much by the book. I was what you might call a model citizen. When I went out to the world, I was a model citizen. Didn't matter. So we have people who blame us. Well, when I was doing that, as far as the world, I mean, my image to the world and to the gang stalkers would have been model citizen, like working a job every day, 7 days a week, the hard labor job, working, taking care of my business, paying my taxes, everything was correct. The gang stalkers did not care. They did not care that I was working all these hours. The fact is, they wanted to bully me. And they were going to bully me. So now it's just like, well, okay, so that didn't happen. And of course, I didn't make a vlog talking about gang stalking, how evil it is, because I didn't even know gang stalking existed. So there was this whole thing where someone tried to attack me at the job with a weapon and all this other stuff. And I thought the guy was a bully, and the company investigated, and they found that, they had all these witnesses because we had all these employees, and they all employees who saw it were like, oh no, he didn't do anything. He's innocent. Everything worked out. They were like, this guy did this. He was completely out of line. They didn't want to fire the guy. I pushed for them to fire the guy because I said I'd call the police if they didn't fire him. So they fired him. They let me on. And then instead of firing me, which they wanted to retaliate, they laid me off and simply did not rehire me because they didn't have grounds to fire me. So they used that. But essentially that was them saying that we control you and the legal system won't protect you. That was when I realized these people were controlling me or manipulating me. That happens if you get a job. If you get a job and try to pretend that you're just one of these people, you're giving them more power over you than they had before. My boss basically said, I own you and you got to do what I want. If a person tries to attack you and you fight back, if you go to the police, I will fire you, or if I can't fire you legally, I will still get rid of you, and now you've become a problem. The gang stalking was super prevalent even back then. So I got to the point where, okay, so I was like, all right, well, these people are not playing by anybody's rules. And nowadays, they're saying that we have to play by their rules. They're not playing by anybody's rules. When it comes to us, there are no rules. They play by not their rules, not the Constitution, nothing, not the United States rules. They play by their rules, break all of the societal rules, and then judge you or use the fact, or try to say that you have to play by their rules or some sort of rules. I don't even know what the rules are, if I'm going to be honest with people. What rules? We don't have constitutional rights. You think I got constitutional rights? I can't even sue people. They have this whole entire place so rigged against me, from the justice system all the way down, that I honestly can't even sue people anymore. I can't even go to take people to court. I can't do anything. There's no rights. If you were to say you have to do this, you have to work 2 jobs, they will have complete control over you the entire time. They could actually send people to attack you, and if you did anything about it, they get rid of you. You have no legal recourse. You have nothing. You would just be whatever they want it to be. They have more power over you. So to be fair, did I want to do that? No. But I would have. This is just the truth of it. I would have done it because I needed to do it. The same reason people do things they don't want to do. Who wants to go to some crappy job and work every single day. Nobody wants to do that. The reason people do it is because they have to. I would have been no different. Literally no different. But they changed things. So we got all these hateful idiots out here. And these hateful idiots have nothing else going for them, possibly. They're hateful idiots. They're angry. They just like hurting people, and they can do whatever they want. They don't have rules to play. They don't have to obey rules. Lifelong criminals. I don't know. The people out here is gang stalkers on my channel. Why don't you tell me why you act like a psychopath? Why don't you explain it to me? I don't even understand it. Bottom line is that nobody has ever played by the rules when it came to me. Ever. They didn't play by the rules when I was working that insane job. They're not playing by the rules now, and the only thing they could do is try to act like I have to play by their rules, even though they're not playing by any rules. They're giving themselves the upper hand. Of course, I mean, yeah, sure. I figured, well, if they were going to screw me over, then I'm not doing anything. Why should I? That's not fair. To say that I have to play by all these rules, right? Unofficial rules. Like I have to, work two, three jobs or all this nonsense. I have to do that. I have to do that, right? And they can literally do whatever they want. And they have more power over me. No, that's not going to work out. But it won't stop them from using the Bible or any other nonsense they could come up with to try to say that I should be doing this, and the reason why I'm in my situation is because I didn't. But I know better than that. That's why I would say that I think it's pretty simple. Being a monster equals you getting what you want. It's literally that simple. If they want to spy on you, if they want to listen to you, they realize that causing pain and suffering is the way to get it. If you're a sociopath, it's a pretty easy calculation. So I said, well, hurting people seems to be working out because this guy reacts and he gives us stuff and he pays attention to us. So hurting people, hurting me equals they get attention, or they get a vlog, or they get something they want, and it's a pretty easy calculus when you're a psychopath. That's how they think. That's the impression I got from them, and that's what being antisocial is. So that I think that pretty much just sums it up. Yeah, I'm happy that I broke free. I never try to be successful anymore because of that. I don't, people would say, well, why aren't you working your way up to, I don't do that. I don't work my way up to be successful. I don't. I'm gonna admit that. And nowadays I would say I don't want to do that. And I don't have to because of just all this. But if we went back before the gang stalking and all that, I would have did it because I would have felt obligated to. So I just wanted to be completely transparent about that. I would have done it. That's why I did it before. That's why I did it. Before I did it, because that was me doing it, right? I would have done it. I didn't know about gang stalking. Therefore, I was working 12, 15 hours because there was no gang stalking at that time. Or at least I didn't know about it. But once I discovered how badly these people were screwing me over, the deal was off. They refused to play by the rules. They refused to be normal. They refused to respect constitutional rights, treat me like a human being. They refused that first, which led to this. So I don't need to be successful if I'm being oppressed. I don't need to work 2 jobs if I'm being oppressed. I need to stand up to my oppressors, regardless of how they feel about it, because I don't think they give a damn about anything. They don't care. They care about getting what they want. You can't really negotiate with a sociopath unless you have leverage over them. So I don't tell people stuff in order to reach their humanity, because they probably don't have humanity. They're probably antisocial, so they don't feel anything. But I figured that message should be out there because I speak for probably other TIs out there. I can speak as a TI to TIs in the TI community. So hopefully that makes sense. And with that said, let me close.